There are certain individuals who enter your life like characters from dreams, disarming, magnetic, unsettling in ways you cannot immediately name. They do not wear labels or announce their intentions. They blend in, offering you something you think you need: admiration, excitement, understanding. Yet after encounters with them, you often feel drained, confused, diminished. You sense a pattern. The same types of people, wrapped in different bodies and stories, keep reappearing. Each time, you are drawn in by a familiar lure and later left sorting through the rubble of your own boundaries. You suspect there is a map, some ancient warning that you've forgotten. The names of archetypes whisper at the edge of your awareness, old psychological patterns resurfacing. And the mystery that intrigues you is whether you can learn to see these figures for what they are before they step into your house and leave muddy footprints on your soul. Consider the one who mirrors you so completely that you feel an instant kinship. They finish your sentences, share your obsessions, reflect back your quirks with uncanny precision. It feels like fate. In Jungian terms, they personify your own unintegrated qualities, the parts you hunger to see. You reveal secrets quickly because they seem to understand without explanation. But this perfect mirroring can slip into manipulation. The moment you diverge from their projection, they withdraw or criticize. You realize that they were not loving you, but loving their reflection in you. The attraction you felt was not to them, but to the parts of yourself you haven't fully embraced. This figure teaches you to integrate your own traits rather than seeking them in others. The next time someone seems too aligned with you, you might slow down and observe. Is this resonance genuine, or are you being seduced by the comfort of seeing yourself externalized? There is also the charmer who speaks in stories, whose presence electrifies the room. They are often brilliant, articulate, and intense. They awaken your mind and invite you into adventures. You feel alive around them, as if you are finally living the life you've always wanted. But their world is a stage, and you are an audience member rather than a participant. They draw from you attention, admiration, resources, and give little in return beyond their performance. When you step off their stage, you feel empty, like the applause has died and the set has been struck. Jung might call them a manifestation of the trickster, the archetype that disrupts norms and provokes growth but can also deceive. Engaging with such people requires discernment. They challenge stagnation, but if you become too enthralled, you become a prop. The lesson here is to enjoy the performance without confusing it for genuine connection. Then comes the perpetual victim, cloaked in vulnerability. Their stories of being wronged elicit your compassion. You find yourself wanting to rescue them, to prove that not everyone will hurt them. They seem fragile, and your heart responds. But if you stay long enough, you notice that every story centers on their suffering, and responsibility always lies elsewhere. Your attempts to help never seem enough. You exhaust yourself trying to fill a void that isn't yours. Jung might describe this as encountering the archetype of the wounded child, not the healthy inner child that seeks healing, but an aspect stuck in a loop of victimhood. When you see this pattern, you learn that compassion must be paired with boundaries. You can empathize without stepping into the role of savior. Otherwise, you both remain stuck, their growth stalled by your enabling, your growth halted by their dependence. Another subtle danger is the skeptic who cloaks cynicism in the guise of realism. They puncture your dreams with sharp questions, dress their jealousy as concern. They pride themselves on being grounded, but you feel heavier after talking with them. They may fear change and project that fear onto you. In Jung's framework, they embody the shadow that fears the unknown and seeks to keep everything within the realm of the predictable. Their skepticism can protect you from naive choices, but if you internalize their doubt, it can also suffocate your creativity. Recognizing this archetype invites you to distinguish between constructive feedback and projections of fear. You learn to weigh criticism for kernels of truth, while discarding the weight designed to anchor you to someone else's limitations. There is also the martyr who gives endlessly and expects you to witness their sacrifice. They do favors unasked, then keep a ledger. They appear selfless, but their giving is transactional. If you fail to reciprocate adequately, you are deemed ungrateful. This pattern can resonate with your own fear of being unappreciated. Jung might see this as an over-identification with the archetype of the caregiver, without integrating the necessity of self-care. Interacting with such a person teaches you to examine your own motivations for giving. Are you giving out of abundance or to accrue moral credit? Boundaries with martyrs protect both of you. You can receive their help when it is healthy and decline when it's laced with unspoken expectations. Lastly, there is the chameleon, who adapts their persona to fit into any environment, leaving you unsure of who they truly are. They might agree with you in private and contradict you in public. They charm everyone because they show everyone a different face. You sense something slippery but cannot grasp it. Jung's idea of the persona, a mask we wear to function in society, is exaggerated in them. They can teach you about the masks you wear. Are you authentic? Or do you also shapeshift to survive? When faced with a chameleon, authenticity becomes your anchor. You don't need to uncover their true self to protect yourself. You need only stay grounded in yours. By refusing to play along with the shifting narratives, you create a space where the chameleon can either drop the act or drift away. As you notice these archetypes, the point is not to label every difficult person as dangerous or to live in suspicion. Humans are complex. We all carry aspects of these patterns. The danger arises when these patterns dominate a person's interactions and when you ignore your intuition. The gift of Jung's insight is the encouragement to know your own psyche deeply. When you integrate your shadow, acknowledge your trickster, heal your victim, soften your skeptic, balance your caregiver, and reveal your authentic self, you become less reactive to these patterns in others. They no longer hook you through your blind spots. You may wonder if avoiding certain people means becoming isolated. On the contrary, discernment creates space for healthier connections. When you no longer invest your energy in dynamics that deplete you, you have more to offer relationships that are reciprocal. You can be compassionate without being consumed. You can appreciate someone's charm without making them your compass. You can support someone in pain without becoming their crutch. The dangerous people Jung warns of are not monsters, but mirrors of unhealed parts. When you learn to recognize them as such, they lose their power to ensnare you. The mystery, then, is not about them. It is about the terrain of your own psyche and the courage to navigate it with clarity.